And Sarah, this is the conundrum here. You may be concerned about what's happening if a lot of people are traveling right now, but if they're not, you don't have jobs. Where do you come down on this argument?
Well, this is not a normal time at all, Becky. I mean, we are just back to not even 40% of the demand that we were a year ago. And as you noted, business travel is not happening. So the revenues are just half of that. So the airlines, without any government aid, are making decisions. They've gone out and gotten a lot of liquidity to try to stabilize the airlines because they are losing money every single day, but they're trying to cut as many costs as they can. And when the requirements of the federal relief ended on September 30th, that meant mass furloughs, but they've also asked for unpaid leaves as well. So we're actually running at quite short staff. And the other thing that is colliding right now, ironically, is that we are short-staffed. We've got more people who have to sit out on sick leave. We've got more generous sick leave policies that are now under strain because of the cost cutting. And so we may actually see flights canceled if there's enough demand, even with that leisure travel over the holidays, because there's not enough staff in place. The other issue, too, is that because we don't have...
Sarah, just on that point alone, I want to get the rest of your thoughts on this, but just on that point alone, who do you blame for that? For the not enough, for the staffing shortage? That's a big deal. Is it the airlines' fault, or is the government at fault for not stepping in and helping?
Well, the government's at fault. The airlines are doing what they need to do in this market. This market is not a rational market. This is a major disruptor, bigger disruptor than we've seen in over 100 years. And so there is no way to make the airlines operate during this pandemic with any kind of rational thought here and continued thought to safety layers without that government help. So the government relief that we got in place is very different than the rest of the bailout packages for other corporations. What we did was a workers first package, and it covered 70% of the payroll. It required the airlines to keep everyone on their jobs, connected to their health care, still paying taxes, still paying their rent, so helping the economy, and also providing that slack so that the government could also require that the airlines continue to serve all the communities. So all of those requirements are gone. And now what the government needs is these airlines to distribute a vaccine so that we can get the virus contained, get out of this massive economic disruptor and public health disruptor, and actually get this under control. That's not going to happen unless we get the jumbo jets back up in the air and unless we are able to use all of the aircraft in place in the U.S. to distribute that vaccine.
I thought it was FedEx and UPS that were going to be largely responsible for distributing the vaccine, not the major carriers.
What's interesting about that, Becky, is that they will say that, and even the United States government will say that FedEx and UPS only is able to operate when they use the commercial aircraft. They actually outsource some of that, a lot of that cargo to the passenger aircraft. So FedEx and UPS cannot meet the demand alone. And IATA has been very clear on this. This is going to require all of the aircraft, all the commercial aircraft around the world. And they have warned that if governments don't take action to get people off of furlough, pilots, mechanics, flight attendants, we all have to have our safety credentials in place. We've got to have our currency with being able to fly those aircraft. And if we don't get that back in place and make sure that the government is ensuring that everyone is called back to service and able to service those planes are, a lot of those planes are sitting in the desert right now. That's going to take a heavy lift to get them back in place. And we're not going to be able to distribute the vaccine fast enough to get us out of this crisis.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.